145. Right?
You're gonna get us out of here by 7:40, right?
Oh, man.
7 minutes?
I know one, I couldn't confirm any of that on the view. Sam, that's big.
You do look like a sunset.
Tequila sunrise.
Sunsets on you.
It's got that folder. Just something that gets names.
All right, call to order, folks. And the new folks, we normally have slides that go along with the agenda. But obviously, we are challenged today with Zoom. Hi, Jay.
Hey.
Come on in. So welcome to our monthly meetings, last one of the year. I hope everybody's going to have a wonderful holiday and a happy new year. Appreciate everybody coming out tonight. It's definitely a much, much smaller crowd than we had the last month, which was about 170 folks. Thank you to Zoom for utilize the space. We appreciate it. Note to the new folks, to be eligible to vote, you need to have been here to at least one meeting, so if you're voting on anything, you've only, if it's your first time, you can't vote. Hi, Ed. If you haven't been here before, you can't vote today, but you can in the future. And also, we roughly follow Robert's rules. Since we have such a small crowd, it's not going to be an issue. We have nothing really controversial tonight. So, just a reminder, this monthly meeting is really all about providing a brief summary of our committee meetings that happen throughout the month. Those committee meeting times are on the back. They probably need to be updated, but they will be updated on the website if you want to check that out later. So at this time, we have new folks. I know I met some new folks out there, so please tell us who you are, where you live, how long you've been here, and something fun and interesting about yourself. Oh, wait, I forgot. Jason? What's your last name again, Jason?
Parker.
Perfect. He used to be the co-chair or the
Yes,
co-chair of technology.
right.
And he's actually, we're doing a test of live streaming. Is it on Facebook? Or
We are
YouTube?
not live streaming. We didn't have a network connection in the room,
Ah,
so I'm recording it and I'll upload it later.
okay. So we will now have a video and audio record. I guess I should have spruced up a little bit better, but oh well.
Yeah.
So
No budget
anyways,
for hearing
now we're
aids.
going to have that. So if by chance in this month's meeting minutes I mess up, hey, look at the video. You'll get the correction. So thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. New folks, Mr. up there.
Yeah. So my name's Eli. I live on Cherokee Place. Been in the neighborhood since June, and I'm on the spot for something interesting. I got nothing right now. 5 minutes.
Next time, Eli.
Hey guys.
Next month.
Anybody else new?
Well,
Mr. King.
I'm new to the association. I help to run the Grant Park Community Garden,
The
and
one on Grant Street.
my name's Gary Mandeville.
Oh, okay.
First time in a long time.
How long have you lived in the neighborhood?
It's the early 70s. Early 70s?
You have seen the transformation.
Yeah.
You have seen the transformation. Cool. Nobody else? Wow. All right, and we don't have the Zone 6,
Not yet.
coming? Mitza with District 5.
Good evening. My name is Nita Henry. I represent Commissioner Arrington, District 5, Fulton County. I believe you guys already have this, but it's our fall newsletter. It's already out on the counter. I think I brought it last time, so that's why you have copies. But we basically wrapped up our calendar of events yesterday. We had a toy drive for children on behalf of incarcerated fathers in Fulton County Fulton County Jail, so we had the drive last night where we passed out toys to those children, those families. Had a great time, it was a great turnout, about 70 children served. There's
How
still
many?
70.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's still some parents picking up from our offices. Sorry, I'm winded. So our proposed budget for 2020 is out right now. You can find the proposed budget on Fulton County's website. The final budget, you can review that. If you have any questions or concerns, you can reach out to the proper departments. The final budget will be laid out in January, sometime in January, probably late January. There'll be a Board of Commissioners meeting in reference to that. As soon as it's posted, I will send it out to you on the website, fultoncountyga.gov for the information, the proposed budget and the calendar of events for the Board of Commissioners meeting. Do you have any questions or concerns for the Commissioner? Thank you.
A couple nights tonight.
Happy holidays. Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Hold out there.
Actually, why don't we go on to the GPPN update?
No, not Gwen again. Once again, it's Denise. Instead of Gwen, not your fault.
I'm sorry.
No, not your fault at all.
I see you like once a month.
I know, it happens once a month, it's okay. Hello, I'm Denise. I am the Community Engagement Chair of Grant Park Parents Network. On the agenda, you'll note that it says GPPN playgroups. If you have a child, you can absolutely join a playgroup. All of those are listed on our website, and how to join one is also listed on our website. We have them from birth to 12 years old. Most of the kids that are 5 and older play with the kids at school though, so the playgroups are kind of really hot for your 0 to 5-year-old kids. But anyway, so upcoming events that you might want to attend are the pre-K and kindergarten forums. So the pre-K forum is going to be January 16th at In-Town Lutheran Church at 300 Oakland Avenue from 7:30 to 9. And then the kindergarten forum is going to be January 30th, Thursday, January 30th, same location, same time, 7:30 to 9 at In-Town Lutheran. It's so late because we want for double parent households to be able to have one parent stay at home possibly while children are sleeping and have one come. For single parents, we are going to offer childcare. Further information will be available for that on our Facebook page and on our website. But if you have an upcoming pre-K or kindergarten student, we are going to have all of the public and private schools in the neighborhood represented by either a parent and or a staff member from the school to answer questions. And if you're interested in signing up for the pre-K lottery, which I don't know if anyone in this room is an upcoming pre-K-er, but we're going to provide information about that. So that's our upcoming event from Grant Park Parent Network. Any questions? We just finished up Winter Wonderland and Candlelight Tour of Homes. It was amazing. Got some great Santa pictures, had some carnival games. Turnout was good. Not as good as last year, but unfortunately I think that our event coincided with the neighborhood ballet's recital, and a lot of our kiddos participate in the neighborhood ballet. So, but anyway, it was a fun time for all. Yes?
Do you have a date for the pre-K forum?
Yes, the pre-K forum,
January 30th.
that's kindergarten.
Oh.
Yep, the pre-K, there's one for pre-K, because pre-K is a lottery system if you're going public, and then pre-K if you're going private, you have to pay, right? So then the kindergarten forum is really just to get to know the public schools in the area. We don't invite private kindergarten schools. So anyway, the pre-K forum is January 16th. Location is In-Town Lutheran Church. Time is from 7:30 to 9. And actually, the last half hour is really going to be about registration for your pre-K lottery for the public schools. So if you're interested in doing a private pre-K. Yeah, thanks.
Cool. All right, thanks, Denise.
Thank you, thank you, thank
All right,
you.
have a wonderful holiday.
All right, same to you all.
Thank you. All right, so GPNA gives back. Even though we've had a tough year on fundraising, we have had enough that we can give back to our community. So it was on a slide. So I wanted to give you guys a little update. So at present, we're at $12,700 that we're giving back. So you know about the Nicholas House at $3,000. So we're sponsoring 2 rooms. Communities Farmers Market, we did the $1,500 for them. Urban Recipe, Food Bank, we gave $1,000. The Security Patrol, we just approved last month at $1,000. And then there's a whole slew that we just approved at our steering group this last week that we want to make sure that everybody is aware of and that everybody's okay with. So Maynard Jackson, the athletic boosters, we always give them $800 so that we can have a little sign over on their baseball field. The robotics club actually came and presented to us online. So Lauren, can you give a little boost on that?
They sent me to represent because they're all studying for finals this week. So they are actually going to come and show you the outcome of what they've accomplished. Basically, the association gave them $800, and that's going to cover new tools. They lost tools during the summer. They've had a pretty high turnover of teachers.
Explain how they lost.
Yeah, someone walked off them from their robotics class, which is, and I want to emphasize this, it's a great facility. They have really great big power tools, but they don't have, like, they lost their small set. So the things they take to competition have to replace. So we had reached out to a bunch of big corporations, and none of them came through, so it was really a lifesaver, and they were very emotional. So I just want to say thanks. And
They cried.
Yeah, they were tearful. We will bring slides, and they'll help you get this working next time.
So we did ask them that we want them to come back later to give us like an update, a little showcase of, what great things that they've done with our investments. So hopefully they will. Awesome. So each of our 5 schools, we are going to give $500 to the PTA or Student Association. APC, just for their support and allowing us to use their space and just what they do for our community and helping to preserve our history. And of course, the Historic Oakland Foundation, Zoo Atlanta with their wish list so that we can pick and choose, what types of things that we want to give back. The community gardens. So we have Jack and Carrie here. Do you guys want to stay a little moment as to what y'all do for the new folks?
What we do, you want to go?
What the elevators mean, guys.
They're very different gardens, very different.
Our garden has about 22 family plots and about 35 members. And we grow all kinds of food. And about half of what we grow, we donate to the Loaves and Fishes at the Orthodox Church. We have a good time. It's a good group of people. My job is to recruit new people to the garden. And so we have a waiting list. So I don't know if some of you may not know about the garden, but it's located toward Eventide down Grant Street, next to where the goats run around. That's about. So we just grow. Like right now, we have kale and onions and garlic, chard, anything that can survive the cold. We put hoops over the plant sometimes. And we join Compost Now, and this year we're going to get a free big pile of donation from them. So that's about it.
Gary?
I have a question for you. Do the goats have names?
Yes, the brownish one is Leaf, and the cream colored one is,
Just make it up.
Oh,
it sounds like, but the name is similar to cream.
Maribel.
I like them a lot, that's why I was curious. Thank you.
Eliza knows her names.
And I'm Jack Becker with the gardens at the corner of Robinson and Boulevard. Ours is very different in that we're right on Boulevard, and so we have to pay a lot of attention to keeping it looking nice because people that walk by talk about it a lot, but it's not quite so clean. So we have to pay a lot more attention to that. We don't have the community space that they have in the other garden. We have 23 raised beds. 21 of them are rented by families to their own use. We do contribute some to the St. John the Wonder Workers food program, but most of the beds are just rooms for the families that rent.
Thank you.
Do you have a waiting list?
No, we don't have a waiting list. We may by next year. You know, we don't know who's coming back.
We don't have one either.
Right, and then of course, we always give $100 for Chris to go buy toys, and why do we let him buy toys?
Zone 6.
I know, I'm almost
Holiday.
done, I'm almost done.
No, that's what I'm saying. For the Zone 6 holiday
It's
party
almost
night.
done. Toy drive.
So our neighborhood.
So anyway, I'd like to make a motion to approve the robotics, the neighborhood charter school, all the schools actually, the ABC, the Oakland Foundation, the Zooland wish list, the community gardens, and the toy drive. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Anybody have an issue with it?
What's the
No.
total?
Say again?
Total?
Total is $12,700. We've already given out $5,500 or $6,500. So we still have it available in the bank, as Michelle will tell you, in our treasury. Yes, Steve?
As long as you're giving out money to community gardens, there is a St. John the Wonder Workers garden on Boulevard, across from Inglewood.
So I appreciate that. I think it should be taken to the next steering group next month and then brought to the January meeting for possible vote. Okay? All right, so we're good? All right, Michelle, you've got checks? Good. All right, Zone 6, who do we have tonight? Because y'all keep changing on me.
Yes, yes, yes.
Good evening.
Good evening, I'm Sergeant S.R. Smith. This is Officer R. Mumford, which is one of your beat officers, your permanent beat officers for Eastern Watch, Zone 6. We'd like to introduce ourselves. Of course, I don't know if you all are familiar with Major Vasquez, but he did retire. So we're getting a new major. Right, yes, that's why I just went ahead and piggyback off what he said. So yes, he retired.
The precinct has a revolving door for majors.
Yes,
They
yes,
come in.
he's retired actually.
Yeah.
You know, usually they go up, you know, the chain, but he was good with major and he's now retired and gonna donate his time to his family and things of that nature. You know, his wife is really the boss. Yeah. So he retired December 11th. We have a new major that's coming in. Captain Clay is still here. I don't know how it'll be on the next meeting, but we'll let you guys know. And we wanted to just, you know, come here, introduce ourselves, and address any questions or concerns that you all may have for us, that we can make sure that we pass along to our new major, our current captain, and anything that we can do as well to answer your question. Yes, sir. Mr. Steve.
Do you tell Captain Clay that the NPUW meeting is tomorrow?
Okay, and that location?
Village Church on Glenwood. in East Atlanta.
Okay. And is it at 7?
30.
Who's the new major?
Well, right now, we're not certain. We would probably know by Thursday. So I'll email that to the chair, of course. We'll email all that information to the chair. But right now, Captain Clay is acting major right now. So everything still goes through him. And we'll email all the questions and concerns to him. And of course, he emails all the chair and the board. I also wanted to let you all know that this is your 2019, 2020 police champion of our Guns and Hoses. That just happened last week. I don't know if you all are aware that every year we have a Guns and Hoses firefighter versus police boxing match, and it's a charity event for all of the community and the kids with PAL. It's a PAL event. They win, this awesome belt. We don't have pictures, we'll email you all pictures. He gave it to his dad there, but he's our winner. Yes.
Don't mess with Mumford.
Yes. So he's our Zone 6 winner. We want to also let you guys know that please continue to share your See Something, Say Something campaign. And if you all have cameras or the Ring camera or you see anything suspicious that you catch, just please send it to our Zone 6 CID email, which is zone6CID@atlantanga.gov. Because if we have crimes leading on 605 speed or different areas, you may not know the information that you hold. So they can look at that and, piece it together with crimes that's going on as well. We want to make sure that you are still doing your clean car campaign, where anything as valuable as a phone charger, please make sure that we try to hide that stuff or take that stuff in the house. It's Christmas, of course. Let's try not to leave any packages on the porch if we can. Like if you have a neighbor that's home all day, see if you can reroute those packages to a neighbor that's going to be home during those hours, because we are getting a lot of package theft. Actually, we're getting a lot of Amazon thefts as well. Like they're actually robbing the Amazon trucks as well. So we're combating, we're teamed up with different specialized units to combat those crimes also. So just be aware of it being, the Christmas and holiday season. So to make sure that you try to take all the precautions that you can with that as well.
Can you repeat the email?
Zone
6?
Yes, CID@atlantanga.gov. And my email address is srsmith@atlantanga.gov. And of course, you all are familiar with Captain Clay's email address?
Yeah, it's been there.
Yes.
Very good.
Anything else?
No, thank you so much.
Thank you
Thanks,
all.
son. Happy holidays.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
We appreciate your service.
Thank you. No.
Oh.
Okay, one last thing in my section. So as you know, there's transition that Laura's going to be taking over as president next year. There are still, however, 4 positions still open. There's vice president, secretary, fundraiser, and philanthropic. So per our bylaws, section 506, I have the option to select somebody to fill empty positions. So Liliana Bakhtiari, I always mess up her name. Bakhtiari. She's been an active member in our community, not only Grant Park, but also the city. She also ran for a city council position, and she has volunteered and is willing to do the vice president position. It's not a big deal, but it helps support Laura and the smaller steering group that we have moving forward. So I'd like to make a motion to support and approve Liliana being vice president moving forward in 2020.
Second.
Do I hear a second?
Yep.
Yes?
So it seems that the new chair should be able to choose her own cabinet.
It's still
And
my,
wait, wouldn't you just be nominating somebody just to finish out the year, I think, right? Isn't that how it works?
no,
And
this
then-
is for 2020.
I don't know that that's the case, that you can nominate somebody for when you're not
It
president.
doesn't say that in our bylaws, Fred.
Okay, we will check with some attorneys about that.
Yes. Yes, Laura?
In regards to her comment, did we just go through this with the president and Supreme Court nomination?
Say again?
Did we just go through this with the president and Supreme Court nomination, that the current president can nominate and is the obligation to fill that position? Whether or not the people in charge vote on it, it's their issue.
So what our bylaws say is the president may select a member to fill any unfulfilled or vacated officer or chairperson position. if deemed necessary and ratified by a simple majority vote of the members present at the next general meeting, which is now, of the association where the recommendation for the replacement is proposed by the president. That is explicitly it. So you have a concern of the bylaws. This is also my suggestion for later of next year, is that the bylaws need to be reviewed on a number of different aspects.
Well, I believe that Laura has a vice president lined up.
Well, I just put forward a motion and it needs to go for vote.
Call the question.
The way that was worded is, it sounds like you make the motion here for the person, and then it's the next meeting. Was I wrong in what you just worded?
No.
This is the next meeting, the next general meeting?
I make the motion at this meeting, we vote on it at this meeting.
But we didn't know that.
And where is she?
She actually got delayed and missed her flight in Seattle. She was supposed to be here. but
I mean,
she's
I would
not.
love to have her as VP.
She's-
I love her.
She's great.
But I mean, obviously I feel blindsided, and as somebody who's going in as the president for next year, I think I would like to delay the vote until January.
Yeah,
Well, I already had a second on my motion.
So who are the Robert's Rules experts here? Steve?
I know some, but, I mean, the bylaws are what rules, so whatever the bylaws.
The
say.
bylaws.
And I just read the bylaws.
I mean, there's a motion and there's a second, so you.
So it just gets voted on the floor.
And we've had discussion. We hear some opposition. So all in favor for Liliana being VP?
I have a comment.
Steve?
Thank you. I've met Liliana, I like Liliana. I met her when she was running for city council. However, I can't recall her coming to this meeting or any committee meeting that I've heard of when she was running for city council. So,
She actually goes to the LUC meetings and she also goes to the MPU meetings.
I haven't seen her at the MP.
And she also goes to the Beltline meetings, the immediate neighborhood meetings, a lot of other meetings that we don't attend.
The reason I mention that is that a few years ago at SAM, there was a situation, something like this. And we got a fellow that the first meeting he presided over, he invoked Robert's rules, and he turned out to be a tyrant. So I'm not suggesting that Liliana is, but
I think she's a reasonable person, is why I'm putting her forward. I see her commitment to the neighborhood, I see her coming,
I mean, but why now, when you're walking out? with
because the steering group is extremely short, and me being president and taking 5 jobs last year,
Well, but
was
you don't
over the
know how
top.
many people I have lined up to take over positions.
there was no communication.
There was
Well,
no communication about this either.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of her.
I was
and she's
just
not
looking.
here.
Yeah.
She's stuck in Seattle.
Okay, well,
Anyway, there is a motion, there is a second, we've had discussion. Yes.
Quick question.
Right.
If, let's say, hypothetically, she doesn't get the votes today, she would still be, if multiple people wanted to be vice president, at the next meeting, if there's like multiple people having interest, then there would be a vote at that point, correct?
Yeah.
No.
If Laura.
No,
No, it's up to Laura.
it's up to the president's
I mean, I'm-
nomination.
It's an
Completely.
appointed position, not
Yeah.
it's not a.
It's an appointed and voted on
Just a
position.
confirmation.
But we've had a couple of people, so.
The only time there is a vote is during our election season where people nominate themselves in October, or September and October, and then it's voted in November.
Gotcha.
So
it's-
all
it is
the empty
also-
positions are empty unless they're filled by the president, which is then approved by the body. Yes?
I'm sorry, I'm reading the bylaws, and it actually says that if deemed necessary and ratified by a simple majority vote of the members present at the next general meeting of the association, or the recommendation for replacement is proposed by the president.
Correct, that's what I just read.
It would be the next general meeting, according to the bylaws.
So you have to
announce and then vote on her So you would vote until next.
It doesn't say that I had to announce it at the prior meeting.
She's reading it.
I
I'm
just
reading
read
it, I'm reading it off the website.
Correct, and I'm reading the same thing. I can fill it, I can select somebody, I could have selected somebody yesterday or a month ago, and I just had to announce it at the next general meeting, which is this month.
That's not what these bylaws say. I mean, I think you've misinterpreted them.
It doesn't say
It's pretty
when
clear.
I have to state that I am,
It says they'll be voted on at the next meeting.
which this is the next
No,
meeting.
the next meeting, you announce them at the next meeting.
That makes more sense, because then people
can
Yeah, then you get like,
and
and, shouldn't we vet them?
Yeah, the whole point of a vote is for people to be able to vote, not for you to appoint.
This is exactly what I'm,
You're appointing, and then the vote is the meeting after the appointment has been.
I have appointed before this meeting, Lauren,
I have a suggestion I think will help kind of calm the waters here. Could we have you appoint her to a position other than the vice president? I think that's a loaded position because that's like the lineup for the next president. And that's where it's
the vice
complicated.
president, all they do is take,
Yeah,
roll
but you
call.
think about the president of the United States is that if he did nothing, he's still the next in line. So it's a pretty loaded position.
Do this.
I have a secretary vote.
Close the next meeting.
Yeah, why don't we go over everybody that we have, why don't I announce everybody that's interested in coming on in 2020? I'll give you a little background on what they want, and I like to look at attendance history, who's been at meetings, who hasn't, and then you guys decide from there.
Yeah.
We announce in January, and then we vote in February, because I do have people lined up for several positions.
And Lydiana, whatever her name is, could also do the
I
same
love
thing.
her,
So
like,
she
I
could-
would, but I'm not, I mean,
Yeah, let her put her name in, and we'll
yeah,
vote
I would love that.
Come on.
I just want to make it a.
Rick,
All right. I propose that we take the vote next meeting.
Yes.
So you're withdrawing your second?
No, I'm keeping my second. The nomination had to have a second. Nominations had a second. I'm proposing we vote in the January meeting.
I'm good with that.
Okay, second, yeah.
okay,
Everybody cool?
Yeah.
yes.
All right. Done
Who
deal.
are your people that are lined up?
So Catherine for secretary,
Who's Catherine?
or,
Oh, Robert's Way.
yeah, I believe Eliza's gonna come back on as philanthropic.
Cool.
I have an interview tomorrow with somebody, so,
Or what?
for fundraising.
Okay. And who's VP?
What is her name, Audra Hill?
But what we can do is put a list together.
Yeah, I can give you
with
an idea of
bios.
everybody that.
So I know Catherine has been to a number of meetings this year, but the rest of the people,
Eliza? She's-
Eliza's been to a lot of.
Eliza's been on the board.
Yeah.
You're gonna announce those in
All right,
January,
express
we'll vote in
I'll give you a
February.
bio of everybody.
Yeah.
it really doesn't
I spent a
matter.
lot of time making this happen, I promise.
All right, so thank God this is my last freaking meeting because I'm really happy about getting my life back and not dealing with this BS and being attacked by people that don't even know me. I just wanted to state that now that it's on record. So as VP, here's your committee sign up. We'd love to have volunteers because nobody volunteers because people come to one meeting and then they don't come back. So come and help us, sign up, spin it around, and then bring it back. If you haven't signed in, please do so.
With me after the meeting, because we already took up the sign actions.
Oh, okay.
So anybody who came in after the meeting started, please see me after the meeting, and I'll get your information, make sure you're added to the official membership book.
Did you sign me up?
Yes, I did. What's your name again?
Bud.
Are you sure you're healthy enough to do this?
Hey, he's not wearing his mask. Okay, also, acting secretary, vice president secretary, I've been doing all year. So November minutes, they're out there, and read them, we'll vote on them at the end. Treasurer.
Treasurer, that's me. Hi, everybody. My name is Michelle Bopanek. I am treasurer. Currently, we have in the bank account unrestricted funds, in other words, not earmarked towards a specific project, such as Ida Community Gardens, Ormond Grant Park Playground, or any of our committees here that raise funds for their own projects. Our current balance in the treasury before the donations we approved this evening, $35,117.62. GPNA is a 501c3 organization under the Internal Revenue Code, which means that donations to GPNA, cash or non-cash, qualify as charitable contributions if you otherwise itemize deductions on your tax return. And if anyone has any questions, they can see me after the meeting. There are several people that we've received donations from here right at your end, and we appreciate all of those as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yay.
Public safety.
Good evening, everyone. Chris Newman, Chair for Public Safety for the neighborhood. And our committee meets tomorrow evening prior to the general NPU meeting, so 6:30 tomorrow night in the same venue with the NPU. First on our agenda tonight, we have an alcohol permit for the new venue here at the zoo. Adam Noyce, presenting for proof of the pudding. So welcome.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Adam Noyce. I'm the president and CEO of the Pudding. And those who aren't familiar with us, we do catering events all over the city. It's our 40th year. There's a fun fact. We hold the exclusive for all the premium catering over here, right here on this campus at Zoo Atlanta. And this alcohol license is for the Savannah Hall facility that's going to open beginning of February, and we'll hold the alcohol license there. We currently already hold 26 licenses in Atlanta. We hold one at the zoo for the premium events, and SSA, our partner, handles the alcohol license for concessions. And we certainly have a track record of serving safely and responsibly, and look forward to opening this beautiful new venue here. That's really it.
The general formal vote would be at the NPU tomorrow night. So typically, the neighborhood will send forward a recommendation or comments to the NPU. Question, sir?
I do. Does any of your money that you pay either rent or percentage, does it go to any other entity besides the zoo? Does it go to the city?
I think the city gets some of the alcohol tax money on alcohol.
Is that through the zoo as a pass-through, or?
No, it goes direct. There's
It's sales tax.
It's sales
Or
tax.
Sales tax.
Yeah. But the zoo gets a percentage of the money as well.
So your rental or your fees go directly to the zoo and not to the city?
Correct.
Any other questions?
To support the recommendation.
Question or comment? So we'll have a motion to support this, to move forward. Second. Any objection to this? Okay, I'll send it forward to NPU.
We'll see you tomorrow night.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All the best with your new venture.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Happy holidays.
Thanks for your time here.
Any court watch?
There's a court hearing tomorrow for the defendant who was arrested in January 2. It's a final plea hearing tomorrow. I'll be planning to attend that if it wraps up before noon. I have conflicts in the afternoon. And that's for an armed robbery that occurred at Grant and Sydney. January 2nd, one of our neighbors was held up at gunpoint. And so we'll see how it goes, whether the defendant's going to take a plea that the state has offered, or if he's going to plead innocent and then go to trial. So I'll have a follow-up in January on what that is.
Good.
Sir.
How, because I know you track this, how are the courts? How have they been lately? I mean, I remember the last time that I went to, Michelle and I went to court because of a crime. We were there with 20 other neighbors, and nothing was done to the guy. There's so many crimes, including gun crimes, everything, and he just gave the courtroom the finger, and the judge didn't really do anything to him, and remanded back to mom's son.
Yeah, in this case,
how are things going?
I honestly haven't been.
That's about 3 years ago.
Yeah, I haven't been to any hearings recently. So we'll just have to see how it goes tomorrow. This will be an experience.
This is not a juvenile.
No, this is an adult. And he has an extensive criminal history, and being charged with 2 armed robberies. So we'll just have to see. I haven't had any communication with the prosecutors. I've had just email conversations with the court watch, just keeping me informed of the calendar. So we'll just have to see how it goes tomorrow. On behalf of the community, I certainly will support the states, assuming they're going to ask for some fairly substantial incarceration. He's been in, obviously, for a year now, and no probation, time served in probation now. Certainly for armed robberies, could be 10 years per charge. I don't know what the state is offering. So I'll find out tomorrow and keep everybody informed. One other issue we've had, unfortunately, in the last 10 days, those who follow Nextdoor, any social media, there have been 3 burglaries or attempted burglaries in the community. And we ask you, please, if you see any individuals circling the neighborhood and knocking on doors, going door to door, don't hesitate to call 911. If it doesn't look right, if your radar goes off, don't hesitate to call 911. In one case up near my house, they did not have an alarm system. They spent about 20 minutes in the house, completely ransacked the house. They were obviously looking for other than electronics. All the computers, the TVs, everything was left behind. They went up in the attic. There's video from a Nextdoor camera system. They spent a good 20, 25 minutes in the house. At a house on Oakland Avenue, there was an alarm system that limited the time they spent in the house. I don't know if they got anything from the house. And we know in the first 2, that was the 29th of November, it was a white SUV, a Kia or Hyundai. And last week, last Tuesday, it was a silver Lexus, driving all around a couple of houses down here on Cherokee at Robinson. You see them back down the driveway, get out, and there was a dog in the house at that location that limited the damage. And then on social media, they were up on the belt line with the car at Lyndhurst, which is the dirt road that over here off of Linwood. And it appeared they had a safe, which was found on Wormwood Avenue. They tossed it off the bridge. So the police have been looking for him. The State Patrol had a tag read on him. They chased him, and they ditched the State Patrol. So they'll be back around. And we please, if you see people casing houses, if it doesn't look right, call 911. Please call 911. That's all we can say. All right, that's it for me. Any other questions or comments to bring over to Zone 6? All right, very good. Thanks. Have a safe and happy holidays, everybody.
Sam, economic.
We haven't got too much from the last month, but we're working on plans for next year. I'm meeting with different businesses to get some thoughts on what we can do to help our businesses in general in the Brown Park area.
Okay. Fundraising, Laura.
So nothing new on filming. One of Boomerang did a little neighborhood block party over on Mercer on last Friday, 2 Fridays ago, and they brought in a food truck to thank the neighbors. I thought it was a really cool gesture. But filming is silent through the end of the year, and I think through the first week of January. Sponsorship, I think we got Rob Smith finally gave us some money.
Well, actually, he owed it to us back in.
Right, but he finally changed. Yeah, so, yeah, he retroactive check.
It was a reminder.
And, don't forget to do Kroger Rewards and Amazon Smile when you buy all your Christmas gifts. Hopefully you've already bought them. Yes, sir.
Is Proof of the Pudding one of our sponsors?
Not yet.
And I think
They will be.
I think Publix does that. Does Publix have a program?
I need to
You check on that.
Yeah, that's
See
a
if
good
they do.
question. Well, they don't have
They do something.
Okay, philanthropic, Liza's not here.
She's in the Dominican.
She what?
She's in the Dominican.
I get to keep it.
So,
Sun, sand, and alcohol.
there's no update on when the next Nicholas House is gonna be. Obviously, Laura just said that she was wanting to stay, so more next month. Technology, Stephanie.
She asked me to just mention what we've been up to. So I'm Lauren, if you don't know, I've run the business directory and the website for about 15 years. And in that time, we've accumulated about 8,000 memberships. So this month, we said, let's do some cleanup. We were able to pare that down to 5,500 by using MailChimp, which is $70 per month for that type of filtration. But when we started piling the emails from like 2014, 15, MailChimp said, no way. So we did a lot of manual cleanup. But the result is that you'll have more consistency in the receipt of those mails. Our rates are pretty good, a read rate around 18%, but it's a good rate. It can be even better. What we want to do for the incoming year is get people working on themes and topics. So if you have an area like the community gardens that you'd like to say edit a page, come talk to myself or Stephanie or anyone on the council, and we can give you access to just that page, and then we can also feature that in the monthly mail. So that's a great way to get a lot of attention to your cause. Thanks.
All right. And also, Stephanie wanted me to remind everybody here that we have been working with, or we have voted to work with Dwell Social, but we've been waiting to get a hold harmless agreement done. We got that document okay from Chris and to Dwell Social so that they'll have their contractors sign it before they do work. And so in first part of next year, you all will see promotions from GPNA for Dwell Social. If you don't know what Dwell Social is, it is a way to group together people in Grant Park that need certain services, so that, say, a lot of people in the neighborhood need trees cut. We group it all together, get a discount on the price because they're coming to one place instead of going to different places during the week, and get it done. Same thing for painters, gutters, all that type of stuff. They have many, many different categories. And so as we get everything signed by them and move forward with Chris, you'll be seeing that move forward as well. They will also be donating a small percentage back to GPNA. So another way that we get money like Kroger and Amazon and all that. So just wanted to announce that was a move through that process and was ready to go forward. And that's the last of Stephanie's report.
Awesome. All right, Paul, Homes and History.
All right. Paul Simo with Homes and History. Our committee usually meets the fourth Monday of the month, but we met last night because the Atlanta Urban Design Commission is meeting next week Monday, with Christmas being on their normal Wednesday meeting. So with that, I've got an extra little thing to put on the agenda here. Because we just met last night and got something really exciting that came up. Usually there's maps here. If you're new to the neighborhood, there's two overlapping districts. There's a local historic district and a National Register historic district. National Register gives us just kind of a shout out through the National Park Service, and gives anybody who's doing any substantial rehabilitation to your projects, to your home, the ability to possibly get some tax benefits with property tax freezes or tax credits. You have to be doing a substantial amount of work to your house, but if you need information on that, you can come and see me after the meeting, or just type in historic tax benefits Georgia State Historic Preservation Office, and you'll find all the tax sheets for that kind of thing.
And the same thing from the feds through the...
And the same thing from the feds, yeah. If you're doing commercial or income producing property, there's other tax credits there. On the local level, our historic district does design review. If you've ever gone through anything as seen from the street, and if you're a corner property, you're reviewed on two sides of your house. The main purpose, one of the main purposes of our committee is to meet with people who are possibly kicking the tires on doing a home renovation. They want to make sure things are going to be pretty good as they move through the design review process. Our committee is there to help them. Our community is here to help you if you're considering that. You can talk to me afterwards. And we also do show up at the Atlanta Urban Design Commission meetings on the second and fourth Wednesdays of each month, making sure that proposals and things that we're going through are being presented correctly, and we try and represent the neighbors if you want us to make any mention toward a project, come out to our committee, and we'll pass that along as things come up through the Atlanta Urban Design Commission process. Right now things are a little bit slow. We don't have any demolitions or new construction to talk about this evening. So the exciting thing that I want to talk about is Ken Lomas, right over here. He's on our committee, and he's agreed to chair a subcommittee of some history components and photography that we're pulling together. It's really exciting. I spoke with the manager of the CVS on Boulevard, and if you're familiar with the CVS, there's kind of like fake blacked out windows that go across the front of the building. There's about 7 of them, and then the doorway. What I noticed in other cities, in downtown Savannah and Charleston and other places, is that CVS's sometimes do like local montages, murals of history or something like that in the windows. So I spoke with the manager there, and he said that he's really interested in taking a look and letting us possibly put like a story of Grant Park in pictures and things in the windows of the CVS, which is really, really cool. So our committee would like to pick up that ball. Ken has agreed to collect names if you're interested in possibly helping with something like that, or if you're a graphic designer who would like to put together some type of a photo montage, mural kind of thing. It's going to have to go through a whole presentation to the manager, through CVS, all these different things. We would definitely like it to be kind of an exciting thing that kind of tells the story of Grant Park through the years. It's not just a bunch of windows with pictures of old houses and things like that on there. I mean, that's a little bit staid. We'd like some, real exciting pictures of the community doing things. Everything from the 1880s all the way through the, through the 20th century, and maybe even up until now, where you kind of move through the murals on the windows or something, and it could be pretty exciting. We've got a lot of old pictures of the postcards of the park. We know that we can also invite the APC, the Atlanta Preservation Center, or even the Grant Park Conservancy to share photos of things. Maybe each window will have little themes and vignettes. This is really just the beginning stages. So I'm just presenting it. Our committee, through a subcommittee, would like to pick up that ball and have those discussions, and anybody who's interested, we'll work on it in 2020. But give your name to Ken, and Ken will stay in touch with you, or if you possibly have old pictures of the park or something that you'd like to share, get it scanned in, get it part of this project. It could be kind of fun. So I think it's really exciting, and it's a resource that has been sitting there for when did the CVS open? Early 20 years ago. Sitting there with those blacked out windows, and it'd be exciting to show some some great community of Grant Park. Tip of the month: if you're walking around your house and your holiday decorations are possibly giving you a little bit too much jingle. Because your floors are maybe a little bit bouncy. How many people have got bouncy floors in your house? Yeah. A lot of our houses, they're going on 100 years old. Their bones are getting a little weary these days. And some of our houses, are built on 14, 16-foot spans through some of our rooms. And if you crawl around, if you want to venture onto your house, a lot of times you'll find out that the center of those rooms aren't really supported with any piers. Piers are going down load-bearing center walls and maybe kind of a cross direction. But a lot of our rooms do have some bounce. That bounce does, it does manifest into loose wax between your floorboards. It can loosen joints underneath your baseboards. That leads to a lot of air infiltration. And not to mention, it's you know, it's just a little, you know, kind of nerve-wracking when you have the holiday party and you're wondering, you know, is the floor bouncing a little bit too much? People are starting to dance. It's New Year's. There's an easy fix to it. Most of our houses are on dirt crawl spaces. Any general contractor that you talk to, they can go under there. They can, you know, dig into the earth, throw yourself a bag of concrete in there, let that dry up, get an anchor point put into that concrete. You can set a 6x6 or a 4x4 post, run sister 2x12s perpendicular to your floor joists, rest it right up underneath those floor joists. Maybe give it a little, you know, some whack in there so that but we're not talking about trying to raise your house up. So that's the main thing. If you ever get anybody to do this, we're not jacking houses up. You're trying to rest a set of beams just underneath those floors, and you know, give your room some comfort.
It works.
So it does work.
I'll add 2 tips on top of that. Put a piece of aluminum across the top to keep termites from crawling up. They will not crawl up and down and around something. Just bend it around.
Yep.
And then dig in 18 inches with your cement, because that'll go below the frost line.
Amen. Yeah, that's good. And that aluminum also helps moisture, you know, moisture barrier and everything else as that's moving through. Whenever you're making attachments, you know, do your homework. Make sure that that any screws or anything that people are using are the right type of screws, because you can't get galvanic corrosion between, you know, wood and screws and pressure treated wood and things like that. So make sure that whatever hardware people are using also is going to be correct, because that things can rust out just by the materials touching. Do your homework, but get a good contractor in, and just about anybody can do that. And give your house some love. And maybe too soon, maybe not enough time before the New Year's party, but take it into 2020. That's the tip of the month this month. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a happy holidays.
All right, last but not least, Rick and LUZ.
Yay, cool. I'm Rick Hudson, Land Use and Zoning Chair. I've got on the agenda Z19-108. It's 891 Cherokee. For all of you who don't know the address, it's the In-Town Healthy Hound dog store right at the corner of Cherokee and Atlanta. They have applied for rezoning to go from what it is currently residential to the commercial zoning that fits what they're doing, which is NC7C. That's neighborhood commercial 7 with conditions. That neighborhood commercial was written for the Grant Park neighborhood to cover any of our neighborhood corner stores that were originally cited in the Georgia Quality Growth Study that was done back in 2000. We have taken it through the process so far and have had support, and it comes to you with a motion of support to support this rezoning. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Any questions?
Is that different than what we voted on a month ago?
For them, we didn't vote on this a month ago.
We talked about it.
We talked about it but didn't vote on it.
And then it went to MBU.
And then it's been all over the place back to us. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All those abstain? Thank you. And last thing, Paul, you probably had them last night, but we had a couple of new neighbors at Land Use and Zoning. Very nice people. And
They were at his committee last night.
they were?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh yeah, they came by.
All right, cool. A great couple. We gave them some advice on just what they wanted to do, and talked about Secretary of the Interior's guidelines and everything else, and told them you guys could give them the right information on what they could and couldn't do as far as front looks.
We did. We helped them out further. Thank you.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, all done?
All done.
Awesome. All right, so November minutes approval.
Second.
Yeah, second.
All right, second. Is this on the floor or is this minutes?
This is minutes.
Steve, is it minutes?
This is minutes.
Okay.
I want to thank Michelle for wearing so many hats, including doing these minutes.
Thank you.
Yes.
You ever seen one of those old kid movies where they walk off a baseball mound or something and they throw their hat and say, "I'm done"? That's
She
what
doesn't
I-
have 4 hats now.
That is what I have
Well, she
done.
will. All right.
Thank you. All right, so, any issues with the minutes? We good to go on?
All right.
All right, open floor, now Michelle has got something?
I do. On behalf of the board and the membership, thank you for 4 years of your life. And I want to say positively, you are still married, still employed, and still have most of your sanity. So we didn't do too bad. But thank you
Did you
very
give
much.
me alcohol?
No, better. Gift certificates for alcohol.
Oh, okay.
And tell them who she got certificate to.
You have a gift certificate to Grant Park Market. You have a gift certificate to Fire Pit Pizza.
I was just there last time, damn it.
Well, guess what? You get to go there again. Shut up.
And Patriot Cook
Oh.
does not do gift certificates, so you have a Visa gift card that you can go
Oh.
through there. Okay?
Happy days. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay, that's kind of teary.
Oh, wait. Let me take a picture.
So, any other open floor items? Do we call it a night?
Yes. Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Yay!
Anybody now?
Thank you all. See you, bye.